and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races.
Oh, it's back through Bartes!
1862 on a summer's afternoon, we took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gunning along the Scotswood Road to see the Bladen races.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another Fans from Shore. John Sinclair TV here again, and I got Tony, my co-host. I got young lad Lewis, and I got Arsenal fan Andy. How you doing, guys? You okay?
You all right, John?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Great.
Evening, everyone.
Good stuff. Before we go on, I'm going to go through the comments straight away. I got Leslie, good evening to you, good evening to Tom, good evening to Julie as well. Julie, if you want to come on the show, pet, the link's on top there. Just click on that, and then I'll get you on as well. If you want to join in, come and have your see. So, guys, you like the video, like what you see, give it a like, give it a subscribe, hit the super chat if you think my channel's worth, and if you'd like to become a member, it's 99p. So, yeah, let's get cracking on. I'm going to start with, I've got Ian as well. Ian, get well soon, mate. I mean, if you can make it great.
You all right?
So, Ian, you good? Ian, he'll get better soon, Ian, man. And
yeah, I'm all right with it. Just, I think I ate too much yesterday. That's all I'm going to go into.
Fair enough. Get well soon, my guy. Big up to AFC Bournemouth Fan TV. Hi to you. I hope you're fine. And once again, Cam sort of brilliant, Jules. Thank you so much. Just when you get started, let me know. And right, we're going to start with the first bit. We're going to talk about the man in a minute. Micky Almiron. I start with you, Tony. I mean, this season it's going to be a big season for him, right? He's got 7 goals this season. Where has this player been?
Well, the player's been there, John. It's just not the coaching's been there. I mean, Rafa, he was only there for half the season when Rafa was there till Rafa left. But, you know, Rafa had him playing okay-ish and he was, you know, getting to grips with the Premier League. But then he had that time under Steve Bruce, 2 years, you know. And 2 years under Bruce, nothing there, you know, Steve Bruce didn't know where to play him, to be honest, because Steve Bruce doesn't know how to manage a football team. Let's be sure about that. You know, the same with Joe Linton as well. I mean, you know, he was a £40 million donkey up front who couldn't score in a brothel, to be fair. But he anyhow turned him into a midfielder, and look where he is now. Eddie Howe's transformed Micky Almiron. He's playing him as an inverted winger. And the more he's training in that role, the more he's grown with it. And he's grown with it over the games in the season. You can see it, the difference week after week. A little bit extra quality every week. You see it stepping up. So, yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, you know. You know, and just fantastic in general. I've got actually 3 players in the Premier League Player of the Month, you know. We've got, obviously, Almiron, Bruno and Trippier, you know. I mean, when was the last time we had 3 players in Player of the Month? Because I can't remember, John. Certainly not under Ashley. But at the end of the day, I think Almiron has I think Eddie Howe's found a way of getting Almiron to get a tune out of Almiron, and he's got the tune out of him now. And I wouldn't put it past him to score on Sunday either, and I wouldn't put it past him to score next week against Chelsea. So, and that would be a nice finish off just before the World Cup break. So, yeah, long may it continue. And you know, I know we all laugh and go and take the pay out of Jack Grealish and say it's all down to him because he said to Mahrez, you need to play more like Almiron. But you know, joking that aside, I think it's down to the coaching of Eddie Howe, and I seriously do think, and where I work, I've got a Spurs fan there. Well, I've got a couple of Spurs fans there, and I was saying to the guy, I said to him, look, you know, I said, a lot of clubs fans in the Premier League, Spurs, Arsenal, probably, you know, Liverpool and all that. Everybody laughed when Eddie Howe came at Newcastle United last year. But are you laughing now? Because you're certainly not laughing, because now you're seeing that Eddie is a serious manager, and he doesn't have to be the small club to do it. He can be the bigger club in doing it. And he's at a club where money's not an object. And also, he's got big name players like Bruno, Botman, Trippier in the squad. And if he can handle players like that, then this guy's going to be an elite manager without a shadow of a doubt. And a lot of clubs will be taking notice now, and they'll all be fighting to try and get him, but they'll never get him, John.
Definitely not. Definitely not. No chance. And big
There's me pal.
He's made it. Yes,
Mr. Chippers.
All right. I've even had a shave now, man. Look at that. I'm not getting off work, but I've had a shave to get myself on TV, you know what I mean?
Should have kept the beard, mate.
No,
exactly.
Too itchy.
You
should done for November. No, I don't. It's too itchy, man. I can't do it. It's too itchy. All the good is it. I'll do it.
But you look.
Can I say something about Miggy? Is that all right?
Yeah, go on, mate. Before I go on to Lewis. Go on, mate.
Yeah, so basically what I think has happened is he's always had this skill. He's always had the pace, even though he does look half a yard quicker, I think. The problem was he was playing out too wide for me, and he was always going right to the byline and basically then, you know, cutting back and then having to mess around and come in. I think what's happened, it's dead simple. As far as I can see, what Eddie Howe's done, he's just said, when you get to the edge of the box at the latest, you cut inside. If you've nowhere to go, put it out of trips and it will come back to you at some point. So whether it goes from trips to him or whether it comes back inside to Bruno and over the top or wherever. And I think it's as simple as that. I literally think that he's just stopped him running and then turning around and coming back on himself. And then obviously he's started scoring goals because he's always had a shot in him, but he's never had anyone really to find him, if I'm being honest. You know, like Bruno will find him wherever he is. He will find him. And I think it's really simple what they've done. I don't think it's too complicated, but it's brilliant, isn't it? That's my thought.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? I mean, I thought the Premier League would catch him up a wee bit, sort of thing. And then when Eddie Howe turned up, it's just been absolutely amazing what he's done. He's turned his career around, and he flourished, Lewis. I mean, Micky has flourished under Eddie Howe.
Yeah, as we know, he's obviously being nominated for Player of the Month for the Premier League, and like Bruno said, don't fall for. Obviously, he said don't fall from himself. Fall for Micky. I think who other player would say that? Like now, at least all the players now have come to be united as one under first and that. And like I don't know what the hell he's been having for breakfast and lunch, dinner, whatever he's been having. But it's got to be something what's like really helped him out.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? I mean, it's just going to get better and better. He's still 28. I mean, he's coming alive. I mean, Andy, I don't know if you watched Micky this season, and if you have, what do you think of him this season? What's your thoughts?
Can I just say that I've always thought Eddie Howe's a good manager. I mean, listen, any manager that can well, you know what he was doing at Bournemouth with such with the amount of money he was about to play around with, he kept him up, and he's always been there. He's always been on the borderlines of being a great manager, and now he's got the funds, obviously, and he's at a big club. I think that you're seeing the fruits from it. I think obviously it's all about man management, isn't it? He's obviously seen something in Almiron that he knows that he can bring out of him, and clearly, the manager's seen it, and he's obviously seeing the fruits of it now. And yeah, he's an exciting player to watch, and his goals are excellent. There's nothing bad about him. I can't really see anything that's bad about him. He's it seems to be turning on now. So I think you can only say that Eddie Howe's obviously had a lot of influence in how his career's going now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, a lot of people miss a trick on Eddie. They're not prepared to give him a chance. And when Eddie Newcastle took him on, I thought, you know what, that's an interesting appointment. But at the end of the day, right, he's done the business for us, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, I think the way forward is now is the younger generation of manager. I'm not obviously not just saying that because you obviously got Arteta, but I just think that their ideas and the way they think is so different now to the older generation. And I think, that's why I think, going off a little bit of the subject, I think that Gareth Southgate needs to be replaced as England manager. I think we need someone with fresh ideas, someone to bring in there with the squad, to work with that squad and to work with them well. And I just think, it's time up for him, but that's another story. But I just think that it's the new generation of managers coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Young up-and-coming managers on the roof. And there you go. There's we see some more young managers to come. I've got some few comments here before I come on to Sam. I've got one here. Good evening to you, Gary. Hope you're okay. Good evening to you. That's Unai Emery. I didn't mind you loaned Rebecca. Not on again, Andy. Well, I tell you what, he went to United and he's got to sort himself out now, hasn't he? So,
went away. Yeah, that's the one, John.
It was top notch. Thank you. Big up to Alan. Hi to you. I heard one. Yeah, that's gone now, mate. I was wondering that the other day, with no point in all the bracket, just swap one bench for another. He should have gone to Leicester. He wanted first team football because Leicester are desperate for a keeper, and he could have gone there, but he was still on the bench. That's down to him. We're thriving and striving where he can just sit there and watch us getting top 4 this season. And good point, Julie. And he says, hi to you, Sam. Micky looked good under Rafa, but was still getting used to the league. Then Bruce came in, and Micky was well and truly Bruce. Now he has the right coaching, and his confidence has been rebuilt as in Tom. Micky could be world class. It's not all about Grealish taking the P. I think Eddie and Jason Tyndall has worked wonders with him like they did with Joel Linton. Great point, Julie. Great point. Into Toonza, hope you're okay. Eddie and coaching staff has brought the best out of Micky, and he's not been all in transformation at the club. Exactly. Hi to you there. And Leslie speaking to Julie, and he has worked hard and his confidence has grown. You're right. He knows the coaches believe in him. Chippers, do you believe in what Julie just said?
Well, what the
by Miggy's season so far. I mean, has he come alive this season? Has he been fantastic? For me, he has.
To be fair,
pay attention, boy.
To be fair, right, he couldn't have done any worse because last season he was awful. Like most people, up until we had the changeovers of everything, he was awful, and every time he had a shot, it went in orbit, and I think it, went round the moon a few times and went round into space a few times, and I think he sent more people in the hospital because his shots went in the crowd more than on target because of he just had no confidence about him, and I don't know if I just think the fact he's playing him, and it seems that Eddie Howe trusts him, and the fact he's being coached properly. Although I still wish he would have a right foot, because there's times where he gets in a good position with his right foot and he just doesn't use it. And I'm thinking, if you had your right foot, you would have scored.
Do you not think he now cuts in so much? He never really. I don't know what you mean, but he doesn't take it right to the byline and have to cut back, and so do you not think that it's so much less of an issue now with
I have to go for my tea.
Playing as a right winger?
No problem, mate. Thanks so much for coming in, mate. See you in a bit.
Let's see it. Perhaps a tweet out, tagged you in on Twitter for me YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on, Lou, mate.
No problem.
Good luck on your channel, my guy.
Take care.
But I'll be on for yours later on.
No problem.
Okay, thanks. Lewis.
Cheers, Lou.
Yeah.
See you later. So, that's Lewis.
Was I speaking about me? I can't remember. But I don't know what the defenders are doing when I watch them, though, because they keep showing them onto his left foot, and I'm thinking, well, that's his strongest foot, so why are they doing it? It's like, the guy's got pace, they're showing him onto his stronger foot, and I'm thinking, well, it's a bit daft, and but like the thing is, I'd say as well, the way the opposition's playing against was a bit daft when, as we're high pressing and like teams are playing from the back, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? I mean, the last few games we have scored goals, but a lot of the games, down at our pressing, teams have made stupid errors, and I'm thinking, you're passing out from the back against a team that's fast, that presses. And you're obviously going to lose the ball because eventually you can't hold. You've got no options. I just think that's part of the reason the way we play now is why Miggy's playing well is the fact that we're press. It helps his pace out. It's what he needs to be on the front. For what's going on there? Sounds like someone's building something, or someone putting a birdhouse up.
There, Pete.
Fireworks. What? I thought someone was putting a birdhouse up.
It's me. There's a big firework display going on somewhere. So I do apologise.
Is it not Mackram's? It's not Mackram's letting off fireworks around there, is it, Tony?
No, definitely not. No, not around here. There isn't. I've never seen any around here.
They're probably on the end of the firework, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely put them on the end of one of them. That's for sure. Actually, no, I shouldn't have seen the one here, should I really?
Brilliant.
Well, I think it's just like I said. I think it's just down the way we're playing. I think that makes a big difference in the fact our being on the front foot from the first whistle and just having the confidence, and that all comes down into one. And again, when you've got players like Wilson up front who can who can draw defenders away, frees up space for you. You've got another pacey player on the left hand side who can skin a player, whether that's ASM, Murphy, or whatever. Then you've got even players like Bruno, who, even the Jody Parroquiera midfield there.
The one Chippers where Longstaff just nipped in and got his head on it, and then Miggy put it under the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
like that. That was a perfect example because we had Murphy, I think it was out on the left. We had Miggy on the right, obviously Callum up front, and then Longstaff was sort of tucked in. There was Longstaff and I think it might have been Big Joe or someone, I don't know. But as he didn't have anywhere to pass it, if he kicks it long, we're going to win any header at the back because we're all our back four, well, apart from the right backs, like 6'2", 3 plus. So he went just chipped the ball to his left back, whoever that was, and Longstaff just read it, nodded it in, goal. I honestly think it's not even that the other teams are shit. It's just that they're really struggling for options because of what we're doing.
Yeah, that's a fair shot there, Ian. That's a fair shot. Very interesting comments there. I'll just go through the comments before get Pete in. Almiron was good towards the end of last season. Seems like if Micky didn't score it, meant he played poorly. Wasn't really the case for. And I got big up to Jay by a long time no see for Jay. 2 decent games to come before the World Cup. Would take 4 points, but love 6 points. Micky went on the outside against Tottenham and still scored. He's unstoppable right now. Absolutely. Chippier's playing up so high. It's like we have 2 right wingers. And this has definitely helped Miggy's this season. Long may it continue. Alan, I think we called him better players. Trips Bruno has helped Almiron loads. And big up to Chesvia as well from South Africa. Thank you very much indeed. And Effin saying hi to Bruno mentioned on social media to vote for Micky as player of the season. Our thoughts may get divided since you have 3 great players in the nominations. Vote Micky. We'll come on to him in a bit. And big up to Luke, by the way. Luke, I'm going to get you on very, very soon. And we're going to touch on that as well. Pete, your take on Micky. What a season, mate.
One of the best he's having, or the best he's having so far, isn't it? 7 goals. He's on the way to double figures by the looks of it easily. And yeah, he's just playing with so much confidence. He's not afraid to shoot for goal. And the chances he's aiming for goal, they're just going in the back of the net, aren't they? He's just been phenomenal. And again, it's down to Eddie Howe and the coaching staff getting down to work with him. And You just love the guy now.
Do you know what it is, Pete? If David Gilola's going to go like that, Lauren Robert's going to go like that, that would have got talked about here in the town for about the next 20 years. But Miggy's going to go like that. It will not be the first time he's going to score a goal like that, Pete. I mean, he ain't get many more like that, mate. He saw some crackers this season. What against Everton's class.
Yes.
So
I've got to be honest. Sorry, John. I think Wilson up front has definitely made a big difference. I mean, he's on fire as well. So when you've got someone playing like that up front who's quick and mobile, and then you've got Almiron that's connecting with him, it makes so much difference. You know, I'm just speaking of what I've watched, and you know, he looks good. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Jesus, actually, the way he is. And I think he's on the edge of playing for England in the World Cup. Not that that's a good thing, because anyone who starts playing for England is on a downward trial after they play for England anyway. But I think that he's that good at the moment that I would take him to the World Cup. I think he's on fire at the moment. I really do.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Andy, because look, at the end of the day, right? I mean, he's 30 years old, right? He's played his best football career, right?
Yeah.
And his movement's fantastic. And I tell you something, right? It could be the difference in getting us in the Champions League or Europa League. And I hope it's a Champions League as well. So we got Isak to come back as well, by the way. It can make a huge difference to Newcastle. He's on trump card because this guy is going to be a stellar player, him. And
he's getting me worried.
I have to agree. If you go,
I'm a little bit panicky with the Geordie boys slipping up now.
That's what they want. That's what all the outsiders.
I'm just a little bit worried. I've just got a Geordie friend who's going to be. I think he's going to tune in. Actually, he's just he's been speaking all your language to me. I really can't understand what he's talking about. He's quite funny though. He's what's he saying he's doing? He's Ganning Yem. He's Ganning Yam.
Ganning Yam.
Anyone understand that?
Yes.
But anyway, but that's how I look. That's how I see it. I just think that he's made a big difference up front. He's quick and he works well with Almiron, and I think that's you're reaping the rewards from that, definitely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, long may it continues, man, because I think he's going to be class. Man United to win a goal to nil. Turn it around.
God, man, John.
I didn't really want to read that, but keep talking.
Yeah, bollocks. You flipping love it, man.
It's because you don't like that use of that word, do you, John? Well, that's what the other Man United or Man. That's what they're called. They're called Man U, and that's what they're called, John.
Yeah, but everyone calls Man U. I call it United sometimes. Even Mason says United. So
yeah, but John, they're not the United that you like is Newcastle United, not Man United. So, and they're not. They haven't got the right to be called United.
Fair enough.
Because they're disunited, that team.
So far, they're not even in Manchester for crying out loud. That's like saying we're in bloody Spain when we're not. They're in bloody Salford.
Well, it is what it is. But as long as we finish above them this season, I'll be happy. I voted for Micky. I think we take all 6 points. Guy thinks we're going to take all 6 points. Who do you take out when Isak comes back? That's a very good question. We'll talk about that, Tony. I'll start with you. Who do you take out if Isak comes back? I mean, where are we going to play him?
Well, John, that's how I'm saying. It's a bloody headache, isn't it? Because, I mean, if Almiron's still playing so well, you can't pull Almiron out the squad. That would be a disjustice to him. If you can't take out Wilson if he's on a scoring spree. Do you know what? I'll say it's a lovely problem to have. I thought Pete was laughing before what I put on, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice problem to have, but for Eddie Howe, it must be a headache. And if Eddie Howe can go to sleep at night and think, "Oh, that's all right, I'll leave it till the morning," I don't know how would you do it. I mean, it's a difficult decision, but I think I mean, you use the World Cup the World Cup break as a pre-season sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, shouldn't be in the middle of a season, a World Cup, regardless. I've seen people on Twitter saying it should be cancelled, the World Cup. Who gives a heck about the World Cup? And that's not just Newcastle fans. That's from fans around the country, like Arsenal fans, Spurs fans, you know, Liverpool fans of all. And people have said, and these fans have come out and said, "Oh, cancel World Cup." They're getting a lot of stick for it as well. People have been nasty online. I'm saying, like, well, the World Cup's the biggest tournament in world football, so don't be stupid and enjoy the football, you know. Or if you don't win the World Cup, then you're not really a football fan, and you know, go and support your little club. And it's like, but why are people getting so like petty about it? Because I can agree. To be honest with you, if they cancel the World Cup next week, John, I wouldn't care less. I couldn't care less, because the thing is, you've seen a lot of injuries from players, right? And I mean, not just us, but other clubs as well, because everything is being crammed in so much to get this World Cup played. That's the problem. Everything's being crammed in. I mean, that's why we had 3 games in a week, John, that Conte was complaining about, that we got 7 points out of, you know. But that's Conte just whinging as usual, you know. And he's got to realise he's in the Champions League, so he's going to be playing 3 games a week regardless. So exactly. I don't get his beef. I don't get his beef on that one.
I don't.
So, you know, and then it just really gets to me, John. And I just think, do you know what? This is why clubs are pushing their players to play, because, and then they're picking up silly little niggly injuries. You know, I mean, Reece James got injured because of playing, you know, because so many games in such a short space of time. I think it's just absolutely ludicrous, to be fair. But we all know why it went to Qatar. We all know Mr. Blatter got his brown envelope, and, you know, it helped him up for his retirement, you know. So yeah, that's what it boils down to, you know. Septic Blatter getting his brown envelope shoved under his desk. And it's true, though. It really is true.
Okay.
You know, the whole FIFA was corrupt through him. I mean, how did he keep winning every term? Because people couldn't vote against him. That's why he got in.
Tony, that all the football's corrupt.
Yeah, absolutely.
FIFA,
even the Premier League is.
UEFA and the Premier League. You know,
well, we know the Premier League are, because of, you know, how long it took to get our takeover through. But yeah, I mean, you know, but going back to the subject, sorry, John, of Isak, yeah, it's a hard. Do you know what, John? I couldn't tell you how to do it, because the only way you can do it is Isak will have to be on the bench, unfortunately, and then if something happens to Wilson, he gets a suspension, or we don't want him getting an injury, but if he did get one, then obviously that opens the door for Isak to get in and then stake his claim, which then means Wilson has to stay on the bench until something happens with Isak. So, yeah, it's a tough one, John. But then that's why Eddie gets paid millions for doing the job he does.
True.
You know, but
you can't change a winning team.
No, absolutely not.
Very true.
No, absolutely
Very true.
I mean, but the thing is, what we got to forget is we're not going to have Isak till December now, till Boxing Day. So let's, you know, but when he does come back Boxing Day, that all depends if Wilson goes to the World Cup, and if Wilson comes through that World Cup unscathed as well. You know, that's so. Let's see what happens, but yeah, it must be a nice headache to have. But then,
yeah, absolutely.
That's why you're a football manager, and that's, you know, Guardiola does it in Man City. You know, that Julian Alvarez, he's not a bad player. He can't get a starting berth in that team. So if he can't get in, you know, and the amount of talent, the amount of players they put on the bench, you know, Man City, but then that's what managers get paid all that money for.
I don't think anyone messes with Pep, though, do they? I think what he says goes normally. I mean, you know, he's got so much experience and so much winning trophies that everyone just probably says, you know, whatever, and bows to him, and that's Pep all the way, isn't it? So yeah, I think Eddie being quite a young manager, he's got to have the confidence to do all that, and I think that's a lot to do also with how the players respect him as well. If the players are respecting him and they're seeing results coming out of it, then if he can mingle a team together, it's all very well buying all these players, but you've got to be able to put all these players together and produce a team to play football. You look at Nottingham Forest. I mean, I went to the Forest game last week and they were abysmal. They bought, I don't know how many players, 18, 20 players. And it's a case of you've got to gel all these players together, and it's no good, you're buying all these individuals. It's up to, so the manager is you can't question until things start going tits up, you can't start questioning the ability of the manager.
Don't worry about that. Like, he's got a massive set of balls on him. Nearly swollen. Like when we brought Bruno in, everyone was screaming for Bruno to come on because arguably we were struggling. We weren't playing great football. Everyone's seen Bruno. Everybody knew how good he was, even if it was from YouTube clips. He didn't bring him on. He nestled him in. He took his time. With Isak, he would have done the same, except he didn't have a choice because we needed a striker, and he was literally the only choice. So he brought him on. 2 goals against Liverpool, even though only one of them stood. And then the penalty. I think if there's no more injuries, he will literally be on the bench and he'll get 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then no doubt someone will get injured because the intensity that we play football at now, it doesn't matter how fit you are, people are going to get injuries. They are. So, and that's why we need a lot of players, because he's drilling them so much. The training, they've all said, it's intense. It's like the game, So
absolutely,
it's the same. Sorry, John. It's the same with Arsenal with Saka. They're playing him non-stop. I mean, he's played ridiculous amounts of games, and the body can only take so much. I think people say, well, they're professional footballers, they should be out-handed, but it's not the point. The body can only take so much, and being young players as well, it's got to play some sort of toll on their bodies eventually. But yeah, that unfortunately, like you're saying, it's cramming in, like Tony says, it's cramming in all these games in the space of a ridiculous amount of days, and it's because of this World Cup, so that doesn't help.
Agree. Chippers, where's your take? Where are you on this?
We're just going back about burnout and stuff. Well, I hate saying his word, but if you look at Michael Owen, for example, look at him early on when he was playing for Liverpool in England. He got injured after a couple of years. He got hamstrings, and don't think he ever recovered from it, did he? I think ever since he got his first sort of hamstring, he got them on a regular basis, and he got injuries on a regular basis because he played that much when he was younger. I just think he'll not rush him in. The same if we're signing players in January. He'll not rush them in. He'll bed them in. You can't change your inside, as it's been said earlier. It's unfair on the people who are winning games. They know, though, that if they have one bad game, they could be out the game. No matter if we win or not, they could be out of the team. But it's a nice headache to have, isn't it? When was the last time we had a squad that, Amaja's scratching his chin over, thinking, "Ooh, who do I play this weekend?" It's something we've been crying out for years. So I'm just glad I'm not Eddie Howe, to be honest.
I know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one, Pete. I mean, who do you bring? What would you do?
Again, if Isak, when he's fit, he doesn't come straight in for me. And again, unless something happens to Wilson, of course. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you can't drop technically a side that's doing well. See, Micky in no way you can drop as well. So that's the thing. Isak will probably have to settle for a place on the bench at the moment, unless something happens to Wilson.
Can you not play Wilson and Isak together? Is not a way you would go forward with
Eddie
him?
will not change his formation. Isak can play wide, but
yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, most teams now play with one up front anyway, don't they? It's very unusual you have two up front. That's old school now, isn't it? I think, but yeah, it'd be quite a good combination, though, wouldn't it? Because he's quite a big lad, isn't he? Isak? And you've got Wilson that's nifty and quick around the box. But yeah, obviously, like you say, it wouldn't happen. So, listen, I think for you boys, it's a nice headache to have. And you know, I don't think he'll be going anywhere too soon anyway. So I think, you know, it's a long old season, and you don't forget you've got cup matches coming up as well. You've got the FA Cup, you've got the Carling Cup. You know, there's all these cups. So I'm sure he'll be utilised in a good way.
Well said, Andy. You're absolutely right. Great problem for Eddie to have, and that's why he gets paid millions, like Tony said. And not only that, he's got to pick the best 11. Because you can't start with 15 players all at one time. Only 11 can play at any time. So go for the comments here, because there's quite a few. Let's not forget, once ASM and Isak comes back to the side, just think of how much confidence Micky will have picking up the ball around the box and creating chances. Brilliant, Luke. Chitta Saudi may be off because Iran threatening the war of Saudis. Israel, you're saying definitely. That is so sad. That is so sad. Oh, they get sort of ASAP. Who's also withdrawing this weekend? Shelby, Murphy, or ASM? I think for me, I mean, I bet he'd probably pick Murphy. I don't think Shelby's ready yet, but probably after the World Cup, I think it'd be okay. People saying ASM, Luke saying ASM, put Willock in. Isak can inside. Let's get Isak inside slowly after the injury and try and work something from there. That's a fair shout, mate. Is that your channel, Tony? It's all black and white.
Yeah, that's the channel, Alan. Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button, Alan, mate. That'd be brilliant. And he's got quite a few channel subscribers anyway. Big up to Tony's channel. Can't see Eddie phone Asen straight back in. Return for injury. Expect another appearance on the bench. That's in Clone, lad. Too many quality players in the squad is not a problem, especially with European football next season. I think we're going all the way this season. I really do. And big up to Ryan, by the way. English fans can't be selfish about this World Cup. There's third world countries in Africa and SA. And these fans are flying across the world for the tournament. I think it's too late to cancel it anyway. I think I see your point, Ryan. Yeah, Middle Smith's going goals like this is his whole career. This is like without nude, Aston Foxy. Mr. Cabbage was to pay millions and not having a headache. Yes, exactly. And needs two teams. I forgot it down at the top. So nice problem to have that Isak and whoever is bought in January, as Alan, who plays with two at top now. Not many teams now. Not many teams. It's a partnership I love. But if you do that, you have to take someone who. Why change your winning team? Luke, you're absolutely right. Do not change winning team. And David, I was over the moon when we nailed down target. He can't get a game. Isak looks amazing, but he'll struggle to get back in. And this month, we haven't mixed Maxi. That is a good point, Pete. I mean, we're winning games without ASM and Isak. I mean, when they come in, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. We really are. At first, we were a little bit, but now we really haven't been missing them, have we? Some players I'm glad have stepped in, done the job, which is great. Murphy has so slightly glimpse again, which is good as well. So, yeah, it's good to now see other players starting to up the game a little bit now.
100%. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they love playing for this team. They love playing for Newcastle United. They know what's all about. I mean, you've got a proper manager, Eddie. And talking off Eddie, Tony, do you think, I'll go with Sam first. Do you think, Sam, he should be winning the Manager of the Month award? Because it's about, he should do.
It's either got to be him or Arteta, hasn't it? Because they've both gone practically the full month unbeaten. It's one of the two. I hope he does, because we deserve more credit, I think, than what we're getting off some people. Yes, Arsenal are top of the league and deserve a lot of credit for that. But if you look, considering this time last year we were bottom of the table,
yeah,
I think he deserves a hell of a lot more credit than what he's getting. Yes, it's only 13 games, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's what we've done, apart from being cheated out of the game at Liverpool. So why not? Don't say why not.
Yeah, fair enough.
Some people say it's always the kiss of death, isn't it? Once you get the Manager of the Month, it all starts to go downhill after that.
Well, the good thing is about that is we've got the World Cup, so
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's hiding. Yeah, well, yeah, it's like a wall for him. Yeah, yeah. Listen, he's as I was saying, he's done remarkably well. And you know, for you guys and for a lot of for Newcastle fans, you know, to see them up there and doing this well is nice. As I keep saying, as long as they don't hinder what we do, that's fine.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about team. I mean, like fighting for the team, like being in the first team, and there's no one guaranteed the first team now, Tony. And Target has found out to its cost.
Yes, he has. I mean, you know, Dan Burns sort of took that role on now, and he's keeping the shirt. That's what it's all about. Play well, you keep the shirt. If you don't play well, you're out the team. Simple as. So if you want to stay in the team, you've got to give that 100% every single game, and turn up every single game, because as soon as you have a bad game, that's it, you're out, and somebody else gets your shirt. And that's the same with Maxi. Once he gets, you know, if he gets his chance to get back in, he's then got to play and say, right, I want to keep this shirt because I'm not losing this shirt to anybody else, so they're not getting it easy on the bench. And that's what you've got to do as a player. You've got to say that the people sitting on the bench, they can stay sitting on the bench because they'll have to earn this shirt. And, you know, that's the way you do it. I mean, Eddie Howe, I mean, you know, he deserves to get Manager of the Month. He's done really, really well. You know, and I mean, I said a comment last season, you know, and I said, if you look at it, from where Eddie Howe came in November to where we finished at the end of the season, can you imagine had he came, because there was talk last July that Lee Charlie, or also known as Penfold, was talking to, had actually interviewed Eddie Howe for the Newcastle job. Did you know that, John?
Yes, he did. I heard that as well, and that happened at the end of the day. But did he really want to come to Newcastle with Mike Ashley at a time? Nobody knows.
Well, we don't know, John, but apparently there was talks there, because Ashley was thinking on pulling the trigger and getting shot at Bruce, because he knew how bad the fans didn't want Bruce there. But then obviously just stuck with his guns and said, no, we'll keep Bruce in charge, you know. That's just nothing from him, just to annoy the fans anyway. But had Eddie Howe been in from the start of that season, and then obviously the takeover would have happened and he was still being there. I mean, it's frightening to think, but could we? I mean, I don't think we would have had to wait 14 games last season for our first win, John. I think we would have got to win a lot quicker than that. And I just think if Eddie Howe had been in from the beginning of that season, we could have finished in the European place, John.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I mean, if you think about it, Tony, right? I mean, our club, and we're going to touch on that as well, our club deserves to be playing European football, do you know what I mean? And I mean, Europa's conference would be fantastic. Europa League would be brilliant. But to get to the big one, the Champions League, I'm going to touch on that as well, would just be the icing on top of the cake, because you know what it is? Well, we got players who can actually play in the Champions League. We've got the players to do it. Bruno can do it. On this day, Micky can do it. A fine season. ASM would relish it as well. Botman would love it. You know what I mean? Trippier with European experience at Atletico Madrid could do it as well. Do you know what I mean? So you're right. I mean, anything can happen in Newcastle. We got the players to do it. If you just get a couple more players in and improve, and then who knows? I mean, that Manu Corney from Mönchengladbach will be one hell of a signing. One hell of a signing. And I'll tell you something. Wow. Keep it going, man. To go through this comments as well, go to the next subject. Big up to Stu, by the way, my G. And I hope you're fine on your family too. And I got Erad as well. Big up to you, mate. He's compressed well as a forward and should play behind Wilson instead of Joe Willock, or wide as left wing, and play Maxi as a 10. Very interesting. I don't think he'll play 4-2-3-1, but you just never know. And Evad, could you hit the subscribe button, please, mate? If you can, that'd be amazing. Thank you very much indeed, man. Thanks you for joining in too. And I've got one for Lukey. I'm going to call Lukey D for now on. What do you think, guys? What do you guys think regarding us? If we go in the World Cup being fourth, do you think we can attract any potential big performers coming in for the rest of the season? We're going to touch on that subject, Luke, as well, and add as well. I'm going to start with you, Andy. Can Newcastle get in the Champions League this season? At the minute, we're fourth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're one of the big guns up the top, really. To be honest with you, I just think that the way you're playing at the moment, obviously the World Cup's going to hinder a little bit with everyone, I'm assuming. But I can't see why not. You've got to be one of the top guns up there. Clearly, I'd rather see you in the fourth place rather than the other lot down the road. I can't see why not. I really can't. I think if they carry on playing like they're playing at the moment, Newcastle, there's no reason why I can't finish fourth. We've got Man United, got Chelsea, obviously Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool there really. I think they've sort of shot their bolt really, haven't they? I think but it's never too late though to get into the to these spots. So, but I think yes, generally I think they will. I think they've got very good chance of getting into that.
Good answer. Good answer. Charlie B. Big up to Charlie B, by the way. Do hit subscribe button if you can, Charlie. Thank you. I love the song, by the way. I would not be singing that because I can't sing me life. We're going to Ala Coffee. Hi, Mason. Mason, touch on you, man. Micky, I forgot about Micky. Tell us your season about him before we're going to talk about the next subject, mate.
Wow. I mean, the performances he's put in this season, I think I've been impressed with. Obviously, he hasn't been good enough for past 3 seasons up until like this season, and then he's just turned into a different player. I mean, I think the start was when we played Man City, when he put that performance in. Yes, he was playing in front of Jack Grealish, and then luckily he managed to score. I mean, sticking his middle finger up because he was sitting with behind Mike Summerby in the owners, and somehow that photo what I sent you is just showed you. I mean, he'd probably been doing it every single time Almiron scored because he knows he's done. He said the wrong. He shouldn't have said that, Jack Grealish, for what he said about Almiron, because since he came out and said it, completely different player. I mean, if I say Man City, I actually say Benfica because he was really, really good against a really, really good Benfica side. Yes, they've got a really, really good defence with like Otamendi. I think he's left now for Tongan, but still a really, really good defence and a really, really good keeper. But I mean, the performances, I think he's been really, really good compared to the other 2-3 seasons, 3.5 seasons he's been here. Well, 2 full seasons, not actually 3, because that time under Benitez he played really, really good. But under Bruce, he wasn't a different player. But it just shows you what Eddie Howe's done with like Joe Linton, now Almiron, Emil Kraft. But unfortunately, I feel sorry for Kraft because he's been really, really good. Now he got that injury against Tranmere, but just hope it doesn't happen to Almiron because he's been really, really good this season.
He has indeed. Go for the comments. We come on to Ian next as well. Is Mike actually going to be the next owner of Coventry City? Could well be. Good luck, Coventry fans. God help you. No reason to tune Cancun excellent form after the World Cup. We'll probably strengthen Jan and take the Prem by storm. How we are the lads. Harry Maguire playing up front for Man United. There you go, Chippers. Happy? To try and get a second goal to top the group. And one man show for goal. And
why would I be happy? I'm not the Man U fan, am I, John?
No, at least I didn't say United, though. At least I say United.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Well,
at least I didn't. No, I said at least I didn't say United. I'm saying Man United.
You just have. You said it about 5 times.
Very swiftly on. Right then, Ian. I'll start with you. I'll go with Chips, then Pete, then right, Tony. Ian, can Newcastle go all the way this season and finish in top 4?
Yeah, there's no reason they can't, or we can't, sorry, should I say, but we have to, it's essential we keep Bruno fit.
Yeah.
And Trips as well, because Trips basically referees the game, every game, to be honest. He's like, his game management is ridiculous, like, he's amazing, and Bruno just, even when Bruno's not at his amazing 10 out of 10 top, he just keeps the ball moving. He keeps everything ticking over. He's for me, never really less than an 8 out of 10. You know, even and because his standards are so high. If he has a really good but average good game, like people are saying, oh, he's not as good as you expect, but he's amazing. I think so yeah, I think it'll boil down to who we sign. I think in January, but if we can get 4 points out of the next 2 games, we're in the top 4 when we get into the World Cup. I think they'll go all out and sign 3 top players for me.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Fair enough. We've got to ask you the same, Chippers.
We can, but the only thing I worry is that we haven't been in this position for a very long time before, and I know sometimes that plays on players' minds as the season goes on, as if we stay in cup competitions and things like that, and what does Eddie Howe prioritise and things like that. Of course, injuries, suspensions, they could come into it. So if there's no reason why we can't, but let's just take it one game at a time and just enjoy it, because we don't know. I think we'll just fall short because of what I've just said, because we will have cup runs and things like that as well. So I might get to a stage where Eddie Howe might say, you know what, if we get to a cup semi-final, he'll want to get to the final, and he may have to sacrifice a league game to get to that final to rest players. So I still think we'll get top 10 pretty comfortably. That's still a very massive success for me. I think we'll just fall short, but as I've said, there's no reason why we can't do it. But there is a reason why we can't do it, if you get what I mean, for what I've just said. So, but again, we'll have to see who we're signing in January as well. I mean, if we get players in the likes of Madison, the ilk of quality of that, then yeah, there's no reason why we can't. But again, the players haven't been in this position before, so we don't know how they'll react. I know we're signing players like Botman who have won a league in France, but it's a different kettle of fish, this league, isn't it? And he's playing with different players and everything's different. So let's just enjoy one game at a time before we start making predictions for the end of the season. I don't want to get too carried away. All we know is that the future is going to be a hell of a lot brighter and a hell of a lot better than what it was in the past. So I'm just enjoying it game by game, and as I say, I know that every day this club goes forward, it's getting better. Simple as that. And it'll only keep getting better. So yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Good answer. Good answer. Pete?
It's possible, but I think, again, it all depends who we get in January, where we are possibly where in April, I would say, as well. But if we don't get Champions League, but if we get a European spot, I'll be delighted with that. Whether it's Europa League or the Europa Conference. And again, we've challenged to get to somewhere for the next season. And not relegation like it has been for the past 14 odd years, apart from maybe a season or two where we haven't been in that relegation battle. But any European spot would be great come the end of the season.
Good answer. Before we get Tony's answer as well, go through a few comments here as well. 4-3-3's worked well all season under Eddie. How I think one more key signing will be crucial for our chances of getting Europe. What do you think we should sign in January? We'll hold that thought in a minute, Charlie. I just got ask one question for Tony. I know the answer for you, Tony. Can we make the top 4 this season? Are we going to stay there?
Well, John, we can. But I don't want to dampen anybody's spirits here when I'm going to say this, right? But we're doing well. Let's not get too carried away. Let's just see where we are. Let's get to April. When we're in April, let's see where we are in the league at April. You know, it's all well and saying, oh, yeah, we're in the top 4. See, we win against Southampton and Chelsea and we finish on 30 points and we're in the top 4. We could be third. Who knows? Depends on what Spurs do. Now, so if we're sitting, say, 3rd or 4th at the World Cup break, you think, yes, okay, not a bad shout. But then you've got to look at it and say, because you've got crucial games coming up when you've got them in like January, February, that period's sort of crucial because of in the FA Cup as well, you know, so that sort of knocks it a bit as well. So, but, you know, I want to see us in the top 4, John. I'm not saying I don't want to see us in the top four. I would love us to finish. If we finish in that top four this season, to me that would be absolutely brilliant because we'd gate crash the big six, and they wouldn't like that. And we always knew they wouldn't like this. And they're getting worried now, John. Why do you think they're linking Bruno everywhere and linking Eddie Howe now? Because, they're trying every trick in the book because they're trying to unsettle us, but we're not unsettled. And, but yeah, I mean, yes, I would love to see us finish in the top four, John. Absolutely, of course I would. I mean, Champions League football, who wouldn't? But I'm trying to be realist here, John, and not trying to let me imagination run away with me that, oh yeah, we're going to finish fourth, because I don't want to see on here, oh yeah, we'll finish fourth, and then come May, we'll finish, say, sixth or seventh, and people will be like, oh, well, you said we'll finish in the top four. So I'm not going to put my neck on the line like that. But as I say, I would like top four, without a doubt. That would be brilliant. If it happens, fantastic, we're in the Champions League. If it doesn't happen, I mean, I totally agree with what Chip has said as well. I mean, he said you've got to put into consideration cup games, injuries, things like that. So, yeah, let's see where we are come April. But at the moment, we're in the top four. Yes, I'm very, very happy being in the top four at the moment, John. And, yeah, just let's see where we go in April. And the full-time score is Sociedad's lost 1-0 to Man United. So, Man United's got a big game now, because what they've got to do now is they've got to play in a playoff game. And this is who they could face, either Ajax, Bayer Leverkusen, Barcelona, Sporting Lisbon, Salzburg, Shakhtar Donetsk, Sevilla, or Juventus.
Man U, Juventus, well, this is a poor Juve team. I think Man U will beat Juve anyway. Juve has been very poor this season. I can't lie.
You say that, John?
I'm not going to lie.
But yeah, they've had Harry Maguire playing up in the front three, trying to score.
I just read that.
The guy can't defend, so he's not going to score a goal.
He's not going to score, is he? He's not going to score. He said he knows Sven Botman, didn't he? But there you go. Well, we'll see what happens there. But what can you say? Maguire, I tell you what, I don't trust him in the World Cup, but we'll see. Charlie, to your question, man, I'll go for either Maddison, Tielemans, or Trossard. Either of those three, or Manny Corney, but that could be possible for next summer, mate. So in midfield, Kraft's injured. Who's our backup? Manquillo, but he's been linked to move back home to Spain. And Gary, that's the one to keep an eye on that as well. I think you go back to Spain, to be fair. I don't think we'll go for three top players. I think we'll bring a playmaker to help competitive nature into attacking players. That's Luke. Newcastle in the Champions League, wow, that'd be unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Anything's possible. We shouldn't put this station on ourselves one game at a time. We know a couple injuries to players like Bruno, Wilson will struggle like we already did this season. Madison has to be a big shot in Jan. I'm really worried Leicester's picking up points, so I wonder. We'll see. And there's chatting the Chippers. I'm betting than just top 10 best defence of the country. That's an Allen. All other teams at top got 2 games a week with Europe. Great chance for us. Good shout, Alan. I'm just enjoying the ride. Even finished 10th. The football we're playing is a joy to watch. Don't want to peak too soon. Manson and Jan would be great. We're not in a relegation battle. That's in David. David, I mean, we're in a great position, man. We're in a great position. We've got to get European football this season if we are to keep Bruno and the likes as well. It's going to Saturday's game and Sunday's game between Newcastle and Southampton. I'll be there as well on Sunday. And I'm going to start with you, Tony. How do you think the game's going to go? And what do you think the score is going to be?
Yeah. As I said to you that day, John, just make sure you sit on your hands, because do not even attempt to jump up when we score, for God's sake, John.
Nah.
Our mate, so don't want to see any Twitter pictures from your hospital bed. Yeah.
I'll be alive.
Of course you will. Just, yeah, like I say, just don't celebrate when we score. Yeah, I think nothing to fear again, John. We'll go to Southampton. Yes, I know Arsenal went down there and got a draw, but Arsenal probably should have won that game by all means, because they had lots of chances. But we're playing differently this season now compared to previous seasons, and Tottenham found that out. They couldn't cope with our pressing and our intensity, the way we were pairing forward. Because if you watch when the ball comes to the back and we played out from the back, all of a sudden the whole team just moves forward, and we're all of a sudden putting pressure on the other team. So I can see this being quite an tackled game from our perspective. I think we will win it, and I'm going to say 2-0 to us against Southampton. Although Southampton are due a 9-0 defeat, we have been pretty ruthless of late, so who knows? But I'm not going to say 9-0. I'll go 2-0, John.
Fair shout. Andy, from outside looking in, how do you think it'll go? I mean, you drew 1 each against Southampton, where a game we should have won, but how do you think it'll go?
I generally think Newcastle will win it, but they are quite a tricky team, Southampton. I mean, we had an awful ref though for our game at Southampton. I mean, I know people blame refs, but he was absolutely a stinker. He had the worst game I've seen a ref. So hopefully you've got a decent ref. But I think I think you should win it. I'm going for a 2-1, maybe 2-1.
2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Got Alakov says 9-0. Ian, what about you, mate? What do you think?
I don't think we'll concede. I think it'll be. I think we'll get at least 2. I would, if I was putting money on it, I'd go for 2-0. But it could be 3-0. But I'd say 2-0. I don't think they've got enough to get past our back four, to be honest.
Fair enough. Sam?
I think we'll win 2-0. I just think I saw them on Saturday and against Palace in the first 45 minutes. They were absolutely dreadful. And if we play that like what they did against us, we will literally rip them to pieces. The defence is awful. I mean, second half, they dominated the second half, and if it wasn't for Guaita, then they would score a couple of goals, but we could be out of sight. If they play like that, we could be out of sight by the time that happens. I just think we'll win 2-0. I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0 job, and we'll go there, come back, not breaking sweat, and move on to the cup game on the Wednesday.
Okay. Mason?
I'm pretty optimistic going into the game against Southampton. Yes, if we score first on Sunday, then no doubt we'll be fully in control of the game, just like we did against Villa. Because yes, when we came out of the second half, we just rammed against Villa. Pope didn't have one shot to make a save of. And if we can do that on Sunday, it'll be a high scoring game. But for me, I would go with either 2 or 3-0, because I think we can go down there and get the 3 points, because Southampton haven't been that good this season. Well, apart from one game against Arsenal, but it shows sometimes Southampton haven't been good enough. But they may have to put the pressure up a little bit because they're playing Newcastle. But hopefully it'll be 2 or 3-0.
And Pete, I know you're passionate, always optimistic in Newcastle United. And are we going to go on Sunday, get 3 points, mate?
Yeah, I believe we will. Really believe we will, because the way we're playing, Southampton are a bit of a funny side. You've got to admit, but I think we'll still have enough to beat them. And I'm going to say 3-1 Newcastle. We can target their defence, because it really can be got at. And they are going to find it hard to break us down in a way as well. And that's why I fancy us another win on Sunday.
Fair enough. And I think I asked everyone. Have I asked you, Ian? I think I asked everyone now. So yeah, that's done. For me, I'm going to go with 2-0, but I think I need to be patient going into the game. It's not going to be easy. Yes, Southampton's not been great at the season. They've got a good point against Arsenal. Cool. But this is a Newcastle team that's won 4 out of the last 5 games. And we defend them well, and we've got Bruno's control in midfield. But one thing got worried for is James Ward-Prowse. If you give the fouls away anywhere in that box or anywhere close to the box, he's going to punish you because that guy, his free kicks absolutely stunning. But keep away from that, will be absolutely fine. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Newcastle United. So go on to Charlie's question. In terms of the World Cup, do you think training to the build up to the second half of the Prem will be high intensity? What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any let up in the training. I think he'll carry on regardless. It'll be the same training regime, that he normally does anyway. And I think there's a friendly arranged out there as well. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to let up in training. There's no chance he's going to let the standards drop, is he? So you'll want to keep the players, as highly trained as possible, ready for when the season restarts again. It's like Project Restart all over again. But when it restarts again on Boxing Day. So yeah, I think he'll keep up the intensity in the training sessions right up until Boxing Day.
Have Newcastle got a lot of international players that are going to be away then?
No,
A few. Not many, be a few.
So it's just really a matter of keeping up the training with the squad and just waiting until the World Cup's finished really, and just keeping the normal training sessions going with it all, and hoping that whoever goes doesn't pick up any injuries then really.
Exactly.
Let's hope.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Alec saying, will Southampton bring the parade again with dog mascots, brass bands, lights and music, or when the Saints goes marching in? We should be going marching in after a win. Playing really well at the minute. 3-1 to Newcastle. Got to watch out for Ward-Prowse. Southampton to play well at home against the stronger teams. Not an easy game at all. 5-0 to be a fighting. 2-0 to Chris. We've seen was on Hampton. Excuse me. Nothing's stopping the team juggernaut now. We're on a roll with some momentum. Bring on anybody, Aston Stew. And we got where has the season went? Gone by so quickly. Only 2 league games left before the break. You know what? We get minimum 3 points. 4 points, great. 6 points will be in the top 4. And I tell you what, going into the second half of the season, wow, that'd be brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to wrap it up there, guys, because I know it's going to be a short one and needs to end. I know To's got a show very soon on his fan zone, 8:30. So before we go, Tony, where can you find you, mate, on your channels, mate?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at TonyTony31. Give me a follow and I'll follow you back. Also, you can find me on my channel, which is down there, the Twitter. Also, you can find me on my channel. It's all Black and White TV. Tonight, you got the fan zone, 8:30 tonight. So tune in for that. No show tomorrow, but there'll be a preview show on Saturday. But yeah, just come on, have a look. And if you haven't yet subscribed, then please do. It's a great channel. And give it a like as well. Thank you very much, John, for having me on.
Champion, no problem.
And we did a good show last night as well, John, didn't we?
We did indeed, and thank you again for having us on, man. It's just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't subscribed, just go onto Tony's channel, get them subscribed, people. That'd be fantastic. Andy, where can I find you, mate?
Okay, so normally just on Twitter, it's at AndyRaven8. Yeah, I'm normally just on there giving casual views and opinions on people, and let's all carry on hating Tottenham. And yeah, let's hope that you boys and Arsenal are both together at the end of the season. Hopefully, I'll be on again soon. Don't forget, boys, to cheer on the Reds tonight. Thanks, John.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Nice one,
man.
pal.
Nice one. We'll go with you, Ian. And where can we find you on the socials, mate?
Nowhere, mate. I'm off Twitter. I'm doing nothing at the moment. I'm on Facebook, but only for friends. So I'm just chilling. Yeah. You'll find us just loitering around a few channels on YouTube. And that's it.
Big up. Chippers.
Facebook, Sam Sheffield, and Instagram Sheffield Sam, and that's it.
Fair enough. No longer on social
media. No channel 900, Sam.
Not tonight, no. I'm a bit tired off work today, so I'll have to give it a miss.
Yeah, John was asking how he subscribes to that channel.
I don't think Julianne will be happy about that.
Even that's the names.
After dark. It's after 10 o'clock, John. It's after the watershed.
After the watershed. I'll give it a miss, man. Mason, where can you find you, mate?
Mason Ford, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And last but not least, my guy, Pete.
Yep, so YouTube is PD Prologue, of course. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'll have a show on tomorrow night, the usual Friday night PD's football live show. Get yourselves tuned in for that tomorrow night.
Work, man. I'm on late.
Oh, again, man.
Oh. See, my late seems to be every Friday night now.
Saturday we'll have the preview for the Southampton game, and of course Sunday we'll have the watch along, and possibly on the Sunday as well we'll have the match review and play ratings as well.
Brilliant stuff. That should be a cracking show.
And again, my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, they're PD Prologue as well.
Big up. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Pete. Going for the comms before we wrap up the show. Trips, Cher, Botman, Port Bruno, and also hopefully Wilson, George, Dan as well. The older Geordies, yeah, I've got that one, Stu. Well done, man. Bye to you. I like coffee. Take care, mate. From to Alan, Chris should join all the lads. Chris, thank you, man. And Cher versus Bruno with Brazil play Switzerland. Brazil's playing Switzerland, I believe. That'll be very interesting. Very interesting in the World Cup. And that match is happening as well. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. And listen, I'll let you crack on, but thanks so much for joining in. And I see you guys on another fan forum show next week. And that's when we play Chelsea. And until then, if you like the video, like what you see, hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button as well. Super chat. And also, if you'd like to become a member, it's 99p. Just click on that. Thanks so much indeed.
Cheers, boys.
It's a goodbye for now. Watch what you're doing. Take care.
See you later.
That's it.
Yeah.